Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, number 361. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Please be seated.
Good morning. Almost. We almost got it this time. Good morning. There you go. And welcome to this Sunday service of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship located in Durham, North Carolina. I'm the Reverend Jim Lewis, Minister of Lifespan Faith Development and Pastoral Care, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, gender identity, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your journey, we welcome you. If you're visiting with us today for the first or even second time, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and introduce yourself in the chat box if you're watching on the live stream, so that we may give you an ERUUF welcome. Anybody in the room? Any first or second timers? Hello, welcome. Excellent. Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you have children or youth with you, they are invited to attend one of our religious exploration classes when the children are sung out after the time for all ages. We also invite adults to the Inquirers class for visitors and newcomers, which takes place in the Care Building next door or online via Zoom, directly after the service. The class provides an opportunity to get to know us better and for us to get to know you. Also, an announcement today, heaven forbid. Also, for everyone today, directly after service, we are all invited to attend an Article 2 listening session hosted by the Denominational Affairs team in the Commons Room at 1 o'clock. That's right next door. The listening session will allow our delegates to the UU General Assembly in June to find out what your thoughts or questions are as they prepare to participate in the preliminary vote on changes to Article 2 of our UU bylaws. To be clear, Article 2 is the part of the UU bylaws that discusses what our principles and sources of belief are. ERUUF's GA delegates would really like to hear your thoughts as they prepare to participate in this important vote. And finally, if you would like to be a GA delegate, it's not too late. See the information in this week's e-news or speak to a member of the Denominational Affairs team at today's listening session. Our service today has been planned by ERUUF's Nontheist group. And today's special music is being offered by the Eno River Singers and Eric Thomas. Now would be a good time to turn off any devices you might have on your person. Let us take a moment to center ourselves and let our service begin.
I live in the world of the here and the now, with no supernatural and no sacred cows. I try to be open and not preconceive the nature of things I believe. Sometimes I'm asked just what I believe. Do I only believe in things I can perceive? But the world I can see is splendid indeed. I'll tell you just what I believe. I believe in the wonder on the face of a child, and the thrill of a kiss, and the warmth of a smile, a lover's caress, and the love I'll receive. In all these things I believe. I believe in science, and I believe in art, the fruits of the mind and the gifts of the heart, all the wonderful things that the mind can conceive, and all these things I believe. I believe in the heart, I believe in the mind, in fairness and justice for all humankind. From tyrants and dogmas, we all should be free, and all those things I believe. All that I feel when I see the night sky, view scenic vistas or watch a bird fly, my heart fills to bursting. To this world I'll cleave, in all these things I believe. When my life's over and it's time to go, I'll live on in memories of people I know. When they recall my words or my deeds, I will live on, I believe. I believe in the heart, I believe in the mind. I believe that no one should be left behind. Connections we make and the web that we weave, in all these things I believe. I believe in the heart, I believe in the mind, in the potential of all humankind. I believe in the greatness that we can achieve. In all these things I believe.
Our opening words are from Kenneth L. Patton, called This House. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature.
It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, an open room for the encouragement of our struggle.
It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person.
It offers a platform for the free voice, for declaring, both in times of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion.
It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers.
It is a house of art, adorning its celebrations with melodies and handiworks.
It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress.
This house is a cradle for our dreams, the workshop for our common endeavor.
These are the words of Julianne Lepp. Let us be open to unexpected answers. We seek our place in the world and answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our talents remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths.
Please rise in body or spirit. The Eno River Singers are going to lead us, but please join us in singing hymn number 360, Here We Have Gathered. Please turn and greet your neighbor.
Good morning, everyone. I am sorry not to be with you today. I am actually in Chicago, where this afternoon I will be giving the commencement address to the graduating class of 2023 at Meadville Lombard Theological School, some of whose graduates will become our future UU ministers. But in this moment, my heart is at ERUUF this morning because today we recognize an important moment in the life of our congregation and in the lives of our graduating high school seniors with a ritual we call bridging. Seniors, we know this community has played a role in many of your lives through childhood and through adolescence. We are thankful now to be a part of this process of your crossing yet another threshold, a bridge into your young adulthood. Here at the Eno River UU Fellowship, roses are important symbols to us across the lifespan. When babies and children are dedicated, before we give them a rose, we take off all the sharp thorns because that's our job, to protect and guide ERUUF's children. In a moment, Reverend Jim will invite you, the bridging seniors, to come forward so that you might receive a rose, this time with all of its thorns. As I prepare to sign off, I offer you, beloved seniors, this blessing adapted from the words of John O'Donohue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire and growth, noticing how you willed yourself on, even as you struggled to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, and you're wondering, will it always be like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and you moved onto new ground, your eyes filled with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening, the promise of this blessing. Unfurl yourself onto the grace of this new beginning that is the next phase of your life. Awaken your spirit to adventure, hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in the realness of who you are. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. Blessed be, may it be so.
At this time, would our bridging youth who are here this morning come forward? Sage Axline, Selima DeBellis, Zoe DeBellis, Henry Green, Kai Hodges,
Finding their path.
Love it, love it. Isaac Quay, and Theo Lewis.
And now, as bridging youth, again, we give you roses in recognition of all your time and learning and growth here, in classes, in coming of age, our whole lives, youth groups, and all the little conversations and exchanges that make up our lives.
But now we give you these roses, this time with all their thorns, because we believe in you and your ability to handle life's sharper, more complicated moments as they come to you in the future. We believe in you. We know you've got this. We also know that you know you're not alone. You can always ask for help from anyone here of any age at any time. With these roses, we say goodbye to your childhood here and we say hello to your participation in Unitarian Universalism as an adult.
Today, we also have another gift for you. We give you a chalice of your own, made by ERUUF member Steve Crescenzo, to remind you of the beautiful, bright light from ERUUF's own chalice. Many of us here have chalices at home that we light as a reminder of support, comfort, and connection to our larger tradition and to each other. Wherever you go, whatever you do, may your chalice remind you that this congregation and our larger Unitarian Universalist tradition will always be here for you.
And I invite everyone to rise in body or spirit, all of us here, and join us in saying the affirmation for our youth that will appear on the screen. As you cross this bridge in time, know that we are with you. We believe in you.
We celebrate you. We love you.
We encourage you to become ever more your true self and to make a positive impact on the world. We hope you know wherever you go, you can always come home to ERUUF. Go in peace, go in faith, go in love. May we see you again on this journey, maybe soon. And again, you can always come home to ERUUF.
Children, come on down. Those of all young ages, whatever your age may be. It's so good to see you. Welcome. I'm going to read you a story called Elle the Humanist. Hello, my name is Elle. It's nice to meet you. I'm a humanist. A humanist is a person who tries to be good because they want to make the world a better place for everyone. Have you heard of a humanist? Most of my friends at school haven't, so they ask me questions to understand. Most of the time, these questions start when my friends ask me what church I go to. I tell them I don't go to any church. There are many humanist groups that give us a chance to be part of the community, the same way a religious church is part of a community. Some humanists choose to be part of an organized group. My family's community comes from our friends and family, school, and a local soccer club that we love. Some of my friends ask me how I know what is right and wrong if I don't go to church and study the books like from their churches, like the Bible or the Quran. My family doesn't read church books together, but we do love to read about science, nature, and history as we learn how to think about being good people. My parents taught me a simple rule to help me understand what is right and wrong. It's called the Platinum Rule. The Platinum Rule is very simple. Treat others the way that they would like to be treated. Rules like this have been taught for thousands of years. You can see this fun chart, how our Platinum Rule is very much like other gold rules. Both gold and platinum are valuable metals. The humanist version of this, the Platinum Rule, is fun and easy. Here's how I use it. Would my friend like me to steal her toys? No, 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 no. So I don't steal her toys. Would my friends like me to lie to them? No, so I don't lie to them. I can also do nice things with the Platinum Rule. Would my friend like me to share my treats with him? Yes, so I share my treats with him. Would my mom like me to clean my room and help with the dishes? Do all of you clean your room? Yeah, I thought so. Yes, well, I clean my room and I help with the dishes after dinner. I have to remember that some people want to be treated like I want to be treated. Some people don't want to be treated like I want to be treated because we're all very different. That is why the Platinum Rule teaches us to treat other people like they want to be treated, not like we would like to be treated. So here's how it works. I love to be tickled on my feet, but my brother Bryson doesn't like to be tickled on his feet. So I don't tickle Bryson on his feet, but I love when my mother tickles me on my feet. My friend Brinley doesn't like sushi, so like I do. So when we have a choice of where to go out to eat, I don't pick sushi restaurants. I try to pick restaurants that have pizza, because that's Brinley's favorite. Some of my friends ask me questions like, how do you know you're good enough to get into heaven? I turned too many pages. Some of my friends ask me, how do I know if I'm good enough to get into heaven after I die? I don't know anything about this, but I know that being a good person and helping others makes people around me happier, and that makes me feel happy. It doesn't matter if you're Chinese, Pakistani, German, Mexican, or if you're from the United States like me, or if you believe in Krishna, Poseidon, Jesus, Mohammed, or if you don't believe in any gods or prophets like me. We all are trying our best to be happy as we live on this wonderful earth. And being a good person and helping others makes us all happier than anything else. Now it's time for you to go to RE, and we will sing you out to RE.
Reverend Jacqueline asked if I could share these words with you this morning. As you learned earlier, she's unable to be here. I'm doing so on her behalf. Religious diversity in Unitarian Universalism formed some of its roots in the 16th century, when King John Sigismund of Transylvania, the first ruler to become a Unitarian, announced the Edict of Torda. Considered an extraordinary law for those times, it was the first of its kind in Europe to proclaim a tolerance of religious belief. Unfortunately, when King Sigismund died a few years later with no heir to his throne, a less tolerant ruler was elected. Sigismund's court preacher, Francis David, who had established the Unitarian Church in Transylvania, had been influential in the adoption of the Edict of Torda. He was at that point sentenced to life in prison. David was charged with, of all things, the practice of religious innovation. He never recanted and instead became more radical. There's a lot more to this fascinating Unitarian history, which we will explore on some other day. However, what is important here is that we Unitarian Universalists have a long tradition of being open to a variety of beliefs. The 16th century Transylvanians were admittedly operating in a different context, and we're not actually proposing the broad pluralism that we American UUs now strive to hold our communities open to in the 21st century. However, we do mark their example as one of the beginnings that our heretical and liberal tradition has been founded upon. Today, we UUs identify 6 primary sources of inspiration in our living tradition, which are a means of expressing our diverse experiences and ways of understanding the world and ourselves in it. You can find the sources named in the front pages of the gray hymnal. Here at ERUUF, we currently have 4 active sources groups: the Eno River Buddhist Community, the ERUUF Christian Fellowship, and the Coven of UU Pagans, or CUPS as it is known, and I'll mention the 4th one in just a moment. At present, the ERUUF Jewish Fellowship and the humanist groups are inactive. Alice Alexander, our Director of Membership Development, will be working with one of our newer members to reestablish the Jewish Fellowship. Stay tuned for more information about this, or reach out to Alice directly if you'd like to join in this effort. Or if you'd like to form a new sources group, begin by connecting with Reverend Jacqueline. This fall, a new group, and the 4th active group, the Nontheists, was established. They are the creators of much of today's service, which provides us with an opportunity to open our hearts and minds in a new way to the varying beliefs among those who we sit with in the pews and co-create beloved community with. We hope that this service, as well as upcoming services being offered by CUPS and the Christian Fellowship next month, will allow us all to appreciate that even today, what a rare gift it is to be in diverse community of religious belief, where we do not simply tolerate each other, but accept one another. A UU urban legend is that Francis David once said, "We need not think alike to love alike." Though he never actually said those words, they express the heart of what we strive to live into. Helen Wolfson will now say more about the Nontheists group and today's service.
Today, we're exploring some of the reasons why non-theists might expend considerable amounts of their time, talent, and treasure supporting a community like ERUUF. After all, isn't Unitarian Universalism a religion? And doesn't religion mean you believe in God? And isn't the very definition of a non-theist someone who doesn't believe in God? Yet, as the title of our gray hymnal attests, Unitarian Universalism is a living tradition. Once upon a time, non-theists may have been rare in Unitarian and Universalist communities, But today, UUs explicitly declare to the world that we are bound together not by a common creed about a supernatural being, but by our values and our principles. Any religious community serves many functions. As the philosopher and author Alain de Botton notes, religions are not just a set of claims about the supernatural. They are also machines for living. They aim to guide you from birth to death and to teach you a whole range of things, to create a community, to create codes of behavior, to generate aesthetic experiences. And if you take away the set of claims about the supernatural or a creed, plenty remains that appeals to theists and non-theists alike. When we began preparing for this service, we brainstormed a list of things that drew us to and have kept us at ERUUF. Today, you'll hear 3 of our group elaborate on their reasons for being a part of this community. I expect that many of these reasons will resonate with you. Clearly, human beings, whether or not they believe in a supernatural power, share some basic needs. I believe, as my husband Eric is fond of saying, that being non-creedal is the superpower of Unitarian Universalism. We are a community of shared values and shared aspirations. Some UUs believe in a supernatural power, some don't. But that difference pales in comparison to the common ground that we share.
Good morning. My wife Lenore and I just returned from a wonderful trip to Italy. In each city we visited, we would go to the local church-like place. Some of these cities were actually very humble, but always the church, the cathedral, the basilica, the Duomo, was where they had poured their energy forth. We visited places like the Vatican and the home of Michelangelo's painting The Last Summer. But this morning I want to talk about why I come to this church-like place. Before I share my reasons, let me share the words of Reverend Dr. Powell Davies, former minister of All Souls Church, Unitarian in Washington, D.C. Let me tell you why I come to church. I must have my consciousness sharpened until it goads me to be the most thorough and responsible thinking of which I am capable. I must feel again the love I owe to others. I must not only hear about, but feel it. In church, I do. I am brought forward to be my best in every way toward my best. I sometimes use the analogy of an umbrella to describe Unitarian Universalism. The handle is our core principles and values. The ribs are the major belief systems, both theistic and non-theistic. Working together, they form an array of reinforcing supports, representing the many traditions from which those in our diverse congregation have been informed, and the sources from which we draw our inspiration. But what makes an umbrella functional is the fabric. The fabric of UUism is woven from the threads we as individuals have spun from our own life experiences. No thread is raised up. No thread is excluded. Rather, each thread is valued for its uniqueness. But only when they are woven together into the UU fabric, when held together by covenant in a beloved community, is their full potential realized. That explains how I, as an unchurched non-theist, could 40 years ago wander into a UU church, not even knowing what Unitarian Universalism was all about. And I could feel like I had come home. Though I had never attended that church before, I had a feeling of comfort as if I had returned to a familiar place. I only knew one other person there. There were no markings on the walls to say which tribe was gathered there. There wasn't even a chalice casting its glow across the community. Rather, it was the words I heard which resonated within me. that touched truths I held inside but hadn't even had the chance to make conscious. Over the decades, I've been able to surface these truths, to hone them on the grindstone of reality. I realize that no one entity, myself included, or any religion, has an exclusive on the truth. The handle of the UU umbrella is forged from truths, and the ore that went into the blast furnace to be smelted came from each one of us. And it's from that diversity that it gets its strength. Seeking out the truth, I've come to know that there are things that seem to be opposite, but are often the same thing viewed from different perspectives. Non-theism and theism are such a pair. Both seek to understand what it means to be human. Theists postulate a supernatural presence in the cosmos. Non-theists do not, but our human experience is the same. We share things like love, grief, empathy, and joy, but we explain them differently. I choose to continue my journey in search of truth in covenant with this community. Because we come to church-like places for connection, people like me are often called religious humanists. I acknowledge that we have divergent beliefs, yet we are joined by common values. We can share awe and wonder without an insistence that it be ascribed to the supernatural. One of the most powerful ties binding us is the sense of how precious life is, because it is precious, because it is all we can be sure of. We strive to enrich ourselves in non-material ways by lifting those around us in material ways. We have no sense of the other, as we are all human beings. So I come to this particular church-like place, where all of you are my family. When I am here, I return to that feeling of comfort I felt 40 years ago when I first encountered Unitarian Universalism. I find fulfillment celebrating life in a diverse belief community. I live out my non-theist beliefs side by side with theists, lifting up the disadvantaged and marginalized. The fabric of UUism is made up of thousands of individual threads, each weft as important as the warps it weaves through, theist and non-theist together. Thank you.
Time rushes us along, yet we can find ways to slow it down. Let's try that now for a few minutes. Let's take a moment to center ourselves again and renew our sense of being present in this time and place. So find as comfortable a position as you can. Close your eyes if you care to, and calm your mind. If you want, focus on your breath. Feel your breath as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the moments between breathing in and breathing out. These are the times when you are most still. Welcome this stillness. If distracting thoughts enter your mind, set them aside. how odd it feels to do this. As you set them aside, return your focus to your breath. Now, let yourself become aware of the people seated around you. We are not here at random. Bring to mind that these people, like you, want to live a peaceful and meaningful life. We have chosen to follow our purpose in a community. Here we are part of a community that supports our exploration and our growth with listening, questioning, and kindness. Each of us is here to give support and to be supported by others. Let us sit together in silence a few moments more as we absorb this recognition.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present. It's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us, it can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. Oh, we are a part of each other. We are one. One loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one that I choose love. I choose love. Oh, I choose love.
As we often do, we take a moment today to hold in our hearts those in our community and beyond who are experiencing joy and also struggle and sorrow at this time. Today we celebrate around our world that Spain, Sweden, and Belgium are setting new records for wind and solar power production, as well as a 68% drop in deforestation in the Brazilian rainforests this April in comparison to last April. And among the challenges and sorrows in the world, we hold in our hearts the continuing war in Ukraine, legislation enacted this week in North Carolina that removes reproductive rights and choice, and continuing legislative assaults on LGBTQ individuals. In our ERUUF community, we hold the family of Susan Hollister as she has moved to skilled nursing. We send love to her family as this is a significant life change. For all those sorrows and joys, and for all that are left unsaid, let us take a pause, a moment of silence. Thank you for your care.
Hello. I joined ERUUF in October of 22, and along with my husband, Lauren. We have 2 daughters, Evangeline, 7, and Clara Aurelia, 3.5. I will begin with a poem by Philip Booth. First lesson. Lie back, daughter. Let your head be tipped back in the cup of my hand. Gently, and I will hold you. Spread your arms wide. Lie out on the stream and look high at the gulls. A dead man's float is face down. You will dive and swim soon enough, where this tide water ebbs to the sea. Daughter, believe me, when you tire on the long thrash to your island, lie up and survive. As you float now, where I held you and let go, remember when fear cramps your heart what I told you. Lie gently and wide to the light year stars. Lie back and the sea will hold you. These words by Philip Booth soften and open me. They remind me both of my desire to show by example as well as prepare my young daughters for their journey in life. 2, they remind me I am still a child of my own life and on a journey in which I will ever be learning and humbled. I want to live this one life fully. I do not want to waste it. And having discovered what so many parents find, I want to teach my children to spread their arms wide so they can experience, survive, and thrive in their lives. My religion is our world, humankind, and the wonders of the universe and life. In my years on this planet, I have sought to live my life, understand who I am, stay engaged, and always be learning. I have done this through reading, travel, conversation, living openly, which is not always easy. Religion largely has not played a part in my journey. The last time I attended a church-like place, I was 18 and finishing high school. I was raised in the United Methodist Church, It laid a foundation for ethics and certain rituals and celebrations. My mom often asked me, even today, when did you stop believing? Quite simply, I never did. During university, my experiences of education, formal and lived, travel, a diverse circle of international friends, and self-investigation transformed my understanding of the human experience. These years taught me there is no singular belief system that can claim supremacy, explain or comfort me on my life's journey. In the time since these formative years, I've been fortunate to continue to have the world, its beautiful people from all belief systems, and my lived steps and missteps as teachers. I believe I have found in UU and ERUUF a place, where I can lie gently and wide to light your stars. Here I am learning to float again and look high at the gulls. And with such as the community of ERUUF is, I believe I will find so many more things from this beautiful sea that will hold me. For my daughters, Evangeline and Claire Aurelia, ERUUF can be this place where they learn about life and the world alongside people with similar foundational values and a world understanding, as I hold central. As such, I can authentically embrace their spiritual teachings and journey while they are in my care. Importantly, they can learn there is room in this life for differing views and beliefs, and that people can coexist and build and live a better world together. I want my daughters to have an inclusive and open foundation upon which they can develop their own beliefs as they live their lives. After all, I know I can only provide them a foundation, as life and its journey will provide them the experiences that inform their own personal spirituality. Often, when I sit in ERUUF's family room, listening to the service after my girls have been shepherded into RE, I am granted the only stillness and time I have the entire week for myself. And amazingly, I am at peace with my head and my heart, tipped back and held by the sea of the ERUUF community. I learn and am humbled and opened almost every time. I feel, and by this I mean I am open enough to feel my feelings and be moved by what I hear and experience. And I find a place and a space to be introspective and reflective. I look forward to meeting, learning, and connecting more deeply with others here at ERUUF, and for my daughters and family to do the same. Ancora, Amparo, still I am learning.
For most of my life, I was convinced that religion was irrelevant and possibly harmful to my health. I grew up in a large, very Catholic family, attended Catholic grade school, and by the time I was 7 or 8 years old, I somehow knew Catholicism wasn't good for me. But expectations required that I play the role, so I eventually served as an altar boy. When I served Mass and knelt at the altar, I often felt weak, sweaty, and lightheaded. More than once, when feeling that way, I simply stood up, walked behind the altar into the sacristy, took off my vestments so I could breathe freely again. In hindsight, I think my body was telling me that this pretense of religiosity was not good for me. Throughout my adolescence and most of my adult life, I rejected any semblance of religion. However, I retained my core values of compassion, justice, and love, while I continued to explore philosophy and search for the meaning of life. It wasn't until our children were growing up that I seriously considered finding a community where they could learn moral and ethical values. That search brought our family to a small UU church in Maryland, which served our needs at the time, but wasn't really the community I longed for. Flynn and I started coming to ERUUF about 10 years ago. After attending a number of services here, I remember saying to Flynn something like, "These are my people, and this is where I belong." For my first time in religious community, what matters is not what I believe or whose authority I'm expected to submit to, but rather how I choose to navigate this life. Because of this wonderfully open and inviting community, I've been comfortable engaging in several roles here, including as a facilitator of a chalice circle, visitor host, stewardship team, pledge drive co-chair, and now as treasurer of the foundation. For me, ERUUF has been truly transformative. I come to ERUUF to feel I'm part of something important, meaningful, and bigger than myself. I come to ERUUF to transform, to learn about life, to awaken, and remind myself and be reminded by others what's truly important. I cherish our weekly services as an opportunity to refresh my inner being, to consider the inherent mysteries of life, and share in the joy of community with like-hearted people like all of you. A big part of that joy for me is loving acceptance. Coming from a large family, I'm accustomed to being surrounded by people who know me well, care deeply about me despite my shortcomings, and always help me to grow and become a better person. I feel that same way about my ERUUF family now, so I thank you all very much for that. As I was thinking about this reflection, I read an interview with Dr. Roland Griffiths, who is a renowned researcher in behavioral pharmacology at Johns Hopkins. He has a long-standing tradition and practice of meditation that he credits for his immense gratitude for the preciousness of our lives. Dr. Griffiths recently learned he has terminal cancer. In one of the final questions of this interview, he articulates some of the reasons that lead me as a non-theist to deeply value being a member of ERUUF community. So I wanted to share that with you. The interviewer asked, "So you have this sense near the end of your life of waking up to life's real meaning. What's the most important thing for everyone else who's still asleep to know?" He answered, "I want everyone to appreciate the joy and wonder of every single moment of their lives. We should be astonished that we are here when we look around at the exquisite wonder and beauty of everything." I think everyone has a sense of that already. It's leaning into that more fully. There is a reason every day to celebrate that we're alive, that we have another day to explore whatever this gift is of being conscious, of being aware that we are aware. That's the deep mystery that I keep talking about. That's to be celebrated.
We weave the fabric of beloved community when we draw our circle ever wider and commit ourselves to offering what we can through our time, talent, and treasure as we cultivate hearts of generosity toward the upliftment of our mission, vision, and our work in the world. Our greeters will come forward in a moment to pass the plate, and I also wanted to let you know there's these handy-dandy little cards in those pews that you can scan this QR code if you want to give. That's also a possibility, or you can use the actual plates that pass amongst you. Thank you for your contributions to our time and to the purposes and the mission and vision of this community. And now, Eric Thomas and ERS will offer us some music.
Get up Sunday morning, could decide to stay home and maintain a leisurely pace. Instead, I get dressed and looking my best, come here to this church-like place. Standing together in solidarity, united in this church-like place. We think about things that matter in life, the issues that all people face. Our mission is nutrition of the human condition. We all flourish in this church-like place. Flourish in this church.
For all your time and your contributions to this community. We give thanks today. Thank you for being here and part of ERUUF, and thank you for the music today, Eric.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing Come Sing a Song With Me, hymn number 346. in a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Our closing words come from two UU ministers, first from Reverend J. Mark Worth. In this congregation, we don't come expecting to agree on doctrine. We come to church to grow spiritually, to live ethically, support one another in our joys and sorrows, and nurture community, appreciate beauty, increase our own hope and happiness and that of others, work for a more just society, to express gratitude for all that we have, to love this world, and pass on our values to future generations.
And from the late Reverend Forrest Church. And yes, we choose to gather here because we know how easily we slip back into mechanical habits that blunt our consciousness. We need and know we need to be reminded week in and week out how precious life is, how wondrous and magical, how truly miraculous. Not only to be reminded of these things for our own sake, but for the sake of our loved ones and our neighbors as well. May we make it so.